2 minutes. One minute.
How long did it take? Okay, folks, this is not an April Fool's joke. We are going to call the Planning Commission to order for our Tuesday, April 1st, 2025 meeting. If you would all stand and say the pledge with them, sure appreciate it. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Can we get a roll call?
Commissioner Richards,
Here.
Alderperson Denham, Commissioner Green, Commissioner Hillis,
Here.
Chairperson Groman,
Here.
Vice Chairperson Dieger,
Here.
Commissioner Moriali,
Here.
Commissioner Martinoski,
Here.
Commissioner O'Day, Commissioner Gore. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. This is the time of our meeting where members of the public can speak regarding city business that the Planning Commission has control over, which is not listed, it should be something that's not listed on the agenda for public hearing tonight. If you wish to speak, you must personally sign up prior to the opening of the meeting, and you shall provide their name and bring before the commission. No person shall be allowed to speak who did not personally sign up and request opportunity to speak. No question shall be asked of a commission member unless and except through the chairman. We ask that you be mindful of everybody's time and refrain from making comments that are repetitive and keep your comments to 5 minutes or less.
We have Fru Claypas here to speak on a water line in the city.
Ma'am, if you just come up here in the front to the podium, we sure appreciate it. Welcome. Right there, ma'am. That'd be fine.
Yeah, well, I was wondering if you had a picture of
Ma'am, we don't have any pictures for just regular public comment. This is your opportunity.
okay, my property corners, it's 2.5 acres on the Shepherd of the Hills Expressway, and it corners the 1.25 acre property that they want to put a RV on, a lot on. I mean, you know,
Yeah, the
a park.
RV, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one that's on the agenda later tonight?
I'm not, no. But my property, I've lived there for 50 years. There was no Shepherd of the Hills Expressway. And so when they put our first water line in. They put it between where his motel is and that property that we're talking about. So it doesn't even have a meter up on the street.
Okay.
They have to come down. And I'm wondering, because it was never done right, so I'm wondering if, since, you know, they're going to be doing stuff and tearing stuff up anyway, maybe they could move that and put the meter over next to our new meter, where our new house property is.
Okay.
It's right.
See, we have, Planning Commission staff is here, and they're taking notes, and I'm sure they'll consider all of that at the appropriate time.
Okay, I just wanted to put that in there because there is something going on in the dirt, you know, between my house and the.
Thank you so much for taking your time to come in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any others?
That's all we have for public comment.
Okay. First item on the regular agenda is the approval of Planning Commission meetings for the March 4th, 2025 regular meeting. Has the commission had a chance to review the minutes? Anybody have any comments or changes they want made? Now entertain a motion to approve the March 4th, 2025 regular agenda minutes.
I'll make the motion.
Have a vote?
Commissioner Richards?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Moriali?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski?
Yes.
Result of the vote, 6 votes yea, 0 nay. Motion carried.
Thank you. The first item on the public hearing is a request to amend a special use permit for the campground located at 300 Lake, 402 Shore Lane, 408 Shore Lane, and 412 Shore Lane, Branson, Missouri. Can I get a motion to bring this item on the floor?
I'll make that motion.
Second? Can I get a second?
I'll second.
We will now open the public hearing. Would staff like to provide information on this item?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening, Planning Commission Chair. This is our first public hearing tonight, and it is the request to modify a special use permit for the existing campground located at 300 Lake Drive. So basically, this is a staff-initiated request. We are asking to modify the existing condition of the approved special use permit to account for a FEMA-related deed restriction. And this is a special use permit that was approved October 4th, 2022 by this commission by resolution SU 22-003. So this is a public hearing. It goes into the illegal notice in the newspaper. We mail the postcards to property owners with 185 feet. The existing conditions of this property is it's a completed RV campground and it's open to the public now. To the north and west are single-family housing. To the east is the railroad and the existing RV campground. And then to the south is Lake Taneycomo. Here's some aerial photography to get some context of where this is located. You can see the existing campground to the east. We have some orthometric views to the north and east, and this aerial imagery does show the existing campground that's just got completed. We got south to the west. So the existing land use on this property right now is considered lodging. It's in the pink. The current zoning is conservation, which is that green color. So our special use permit ordinance is housed in section 94-16 of chapter 94. So basically there's a permit required, there's review and approval criteria that's required. There are some findings that have to be found by the commission to be in compliance, and that was completed on October 4th, 2022 by the commission, finding the 6 findings in compliance. This is our table of permitted uses that shows the, in red, the conservation district, and that it's allowed as a special use permit. So why we're here tonight is one of these lots on this property is considered a FEMA lot, and there are some deed restrictions that are attached to or tied to that FEMA lot that we maybe weren't unaware of at the time that we approved this in 2022. So what these deed restrictions do, and this one lot, it's on the western boundary fronting Lake Taneycomo. So what this deed restrictions do is it limits the types of structures that are allowed within a FEMA lot, and fences are not permitted. So the current approved resolution from 2022 has a condition that states that a fence shall be required around the perimeter of the subject property adjacent to the LDR, the low-density residential zoning districts. A fence has been provided along Lake Drive, Moore Street, and part of Shore Lane, which are adjacent to LDR. But a fence has not been provided along that western boundary of the property, which is the FEMA lot that adjoins the LDR property. What they have done is preserved it as open space, and they have some plantings, some trees, and other landscaping that has been provided in this area. I've been down there numerous times, and it looks really nice. It seems like an open play place for kids to play ball or catch or something like that. Here's some current photos of the campground. The one on the top left is along Lake Drive, and then this is in the interior of the campground that shows the fencing around Lake Drive and Moore Street. The bottom ones are all the way over there by that FEMA lot on the western boundary. And then the one on the far right-hand corner below is looking into that FEMA lot. It's not a great picture, but you can see there's some new tree plantings, and then beyond there's more landscaping. And we do have Trayson Lawler here tonight. He's our stormwater coordinator. If there's any nuances of the FEMA deed restrictions that need to be discussed, he's happy to answer those questions. So staff recommends approval of this application, which omits the condition number 4 of the previously approved resolution number SU 22-003. All of the other conditions that were contained within that resolution have been met at this time. So it's that number 4 that's in the red that we are asking to omit from the resolution that you may approve this evening. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions, or Trayson's here.
Any commissioners have any questions? Okay. Now's the opportunity for public comment in this request. Do we have any comments from the public? The petitioner or anybody want to make any comment? Now's the time. If you just come up and state your name, no, just walk up here and make yourself at home. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Matt Kendrick. I live at 305 Lake Drive. My question, Jennifer, does this have any impact on the existing fence that's there?
Actually, for public comment, you would just address your questions,
Okay.
and then at the
Okay, thank
end,
you.
or if the board wants responses,
I
it's
think-
more helpful if you're at the center podium, because then if the board does ask staff to come up, they would be over there. Thank you.
I think that's the only question I have, me personally. It does that resolution or the amendment to that special use permit affect the existing fencing? Or is it just around the FEMA lot? That's my question. So, because it says for the FEMA lot, there, it can't be any fencing, so, but the other lots are not FEMA lots. So does that make, I mean, so my question is, does the whole fence have to come down, or is it just no fencing around the FEMA lot? So that's my only question.
Thank you.
Sir, if you could please just sign your name on the podium, I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Other comments? We'll get them all at once, and then staff can respond as they believe appropriate. Or sir, thank you.
My name's Michael Pike. I go by Mike. I reside at 405 Shore Lane. You can see the house on stilts, the picture the lower right. That's my house. Really proud of it. Spent a lot of money doing it. Removing the campground perimeter fence to comply with FEMA is not as easy as one might think. I think you're opening the door to the original agreement again. Even though you just want to modify a little bit of it, you're opening the door. When the boundary fence was proposed by city staff and presented to the Board of Aldermen, It was a way to deal with not allowing buffer zoning for my neighborhood. The fence was to be the buffer. I have ground in Springfield. They built an apartment house. I was allowed patio zoning as a buffer. I don't think they did it out of the kindness of their heart. Okay. The neighboring properties in the subdivision directly within 185 feet of the campground expansion desire nightly rental. They feel that the city brought nightly rental to the single-family neighborhood, and allowing nightly rental would be, shall we say, appropriate or a buffer to what's happened with the campground. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments?
Sir, if you could please sign your name on the podium, we would appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Thomas Harrison. I own the property in the bottom right, the greenhouse right there that you can see in the right. I'm mostly affected by the FEMA lot. I'm right against it. So my question is just and concern is that, first of all, I believe bringing the RV park in here, it obviously devalues our property. And being the gentleman that just left, Mike, being that if we could get nightly rentals in there, it would bring our values back up to where they should be. And that's my main concern. The other concern, Jennifer just mentioned that that it was open to the public, the entire excuse me, the improvement. But there are signs there that say on the bathrooms, the new bathrooms they installed, as well as the boat dock that was installed, it says not open to the public for RV campers only. So I'm just concerned there was a conflict there with what she just mentioned. And that's basically it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else? Do any of the commissioners have any additional comments or questions?
Now, the fence that's in question now, they're talking about just taking down the part at the FEMA.
No, they're not taking down, my understanding is there is no fence there now.
Right, and there can't be.
Yeah, and there can't be, so.
This is omitting, as Jennifer said, this is an omission of a requirement of a fence surrounding the perimeter. It in no way is a request by Parks Department to remove any of the brand-new fencing we spent a lot of money to put in and was paid for by a grant.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to.
Yeah, I'd like to address the comments from the citizens, if that's okay at this time? Sure. Okay. Absolutely. So in reference to the open space, I was just referring to the people, the campers that were staying there, that maybe if they had kids, they could utilize that space for playing catch or something, not that it's a public park or something like that. But to Matt Kendrick's comment about the fencing for the whole property, so technically the way it's written, I mean, so you're correct, there is no fencing on the FEMA lot, and there never will be, but there is on the rest of the perimeter adjacent to the LDR. So technically the way it's written, it's not going to be a mandate. Like if that fence were to come down in 10 years because there's a bad weather or something like that, the way the resolution is written, it's not mandating that that fence gets put back up. Really looking at this holistically, best management practices for floodplains, fencing is really not a good idea at all. But it was a compromise at the time, for the neighbors, but technically the way it's written, it would not be required to be put back. Not to say that the city wouldn't do it, but the resolution doesn't mandate that.
Okay, everybody through? Okay. We'll close the public hearing and entertain a motion to approve the request to amend a special use permit for the campground located at 300 Lake, 402 Shore Lane, 408 Shore Lane, and 412 Shore Lane, Branson, Missouri, 65616. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Have a vote?
Commissioner Richards?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger,
Yes.
Commissioner Moriali,
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski.
Yes.
Result of the vote, 6 votes yea, 0 nay. Motion carried.
Thank you. Second item on the public hearing is a request for special use permit to operate an RV campsite on the property located at 2802 Shepherd of the Hills Expressway, Branson, Missouri 65616. Can I get a motion to bring this item to the floor?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
We'll now open the public hearing for this item. Would staff like to provide a report?
Yes, sir. Okay, our second public hearing for tonight is also a campground. Like you said, 2802 Shepherd of the Hills Expressway. There's a site plan, conceptual site plan shown on that slide. Applicant owner is Five Star Hospitality, and Jim and his wife are here tonight and are able to speak on the project. I do believe Great River Engineering is here as well for technical questions. So basically, this is requesting approval of a special use permit to operate an RV campground and vehicle park. They proposed approximately 14 spaces, a small office/apartment for management purposes. Again, this is a public hearing, went through legal notices in the newspaper, legal advertisements through postcards. So existing conditions for this property, you can see in this aerial, it's the wooded lot north of Shepherd of the Hills Expressway. To the north and to the west, there's multifamily housing apartment complex. To the east is a lodging establishment. It's the Super 8, which Mr. Jim does own that property as well. And then to the south across Shepherd of the Hills Expressway is commercial. So again, special use permits are housed in section 94-16 of the ordinance, where permits required, review and approval of criteria. And then, so the commission may approve or modify a special use permit application in whole or in part with conditions, only if all of the following findings are made. So I'm going to come back to this slide in a little bit to give it some more context. So special use permits are site-specific, and they also have a time frame for validity, and they can have an expiration date. Here's some aerials to get familiar with the location. Some orthometric views from the north and the east, the south and the west. So the existing land use currently is just vacant. It's the gray parcel there outlined in purple. Current zoning is community commercial. And this is an aerial with utilities. So there is gas or sewer and water available for this property. The 2030 preferred land use map classifies this area as community commercial. The table of permitted uses allows a campground and vehicle park as a special use permit. So I'm going to go back to the conditions or the findings for compliance. And I'm just going to kind of give some context to each of these as staff has done analysis of this proposal. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'll just kind of give it some context. Number one is really speaking to the character, integrity of the subject zoning district and how it's in compliance. So the current zoning district is community commercial, and the proposed commercial campground development is complementary to the adjacent lodging and living facilities of the hotel and the apartments. It's close to nearby attractions, and it seems in character with general commercial development, and it will be in compliance with Chapter 94. Number two speaks to the 2030 land use plan, which we just covered, and it is in compliance with that future land use map as it's shown as community commercial. This is zone community commercial, and you can have a vehicle camp or a vehicle park campground in the community commercial district with a special use permit. Number three speaks to the natural resources and environmental quality. Basically, the property is not within a flood zone, and it should not contribute to any negative efforts upon natural resources or environmental quality. If approved, the development plan will go through a full review by planning, public works engineering, fire, stormwater, and our building division. to be in compliance with our code of ordinances. Number 4 speaks to the compatibility, noise, traffic, things like that. And as mentioned, the campground development plan will go through a full review with all the departments for compliance. They are offering the 14 RV spaces, an office, and an on-site manager apartment. The existing campgrounds within Branson, since I've been here, I generally have not heard any negative or detrimental concerns or, have experienced anything to my knowledge. And it hasn't really created any significant noise concerns. There's been no complaints that have to come to my department. Number 5 kind of speaks to the suitability of the site. So the subject property is relatively flat, which is ideal, definitely, for development in Branson. The site is kind of overgrown right now with vegetation, and it has remained vacant and undeveloped. So a commercial development such as this seems appropriate for the site in consideration of the location to the entertainment district. It meets the desire for visitors who prefer to stay and be in the heart of Branson, offers different lodging options for folks that maybe don't want to stay in a hotel. So anyway, and then the 6th one is utilities. So there are, it does have access to water, sewer, and other public utilities and services. So I just kind of wanted to outline that because those are the 6 conditions that the commission needs to consider for compliance. Oop, that went the wrong way. Okay, so with that, staff is recommending approval of the request with the following conditions. There's 3 of them. The first one is the installation and activities covered by the special use permit shall be in accordance with all applicable city, state, and federal requirements. And number 2, prior to the issuance of a building permit, the subject property shall be required to be platted. This is an unplatted piece of property, so a plat will be required. And then number 3, if all conditions of this resolution authorizing the issuance of this special use permit are not acted upon on or before April 1st, 2026, this special use permit shall be null and void. So with that, Planning and Development Department recommends approval of the proposed special use permit. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any commissioners have any questions they want to ask? Now's the time for the public to come on down and speak on this. If anybody wants to come down and speak, please walk up to the center microphone here. And anybody?
Now, when we vote on this, do we need to state that it has to have those conditions, or is it just?
No, it's in the resolution, isn't it? Those conditions are already in the resolution. We're just voting on the resolution. Anybody else? Going to close the public hearing, entertain a motion to approve the request for special use permit to operate an RV campsite on the property located at 2802 Shepherd of the Hills Expressway, Branson, Missouri, 65616. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay. Have a vote?
Commissioner Richards?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman?
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Moriali?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski?
Yes.
Result of the vote, 6 votes yea, 0 nay. Motion carried.
This concludes the public hearings for tonight's agenda. Staff, do you have any reports for the commission?
Good evening. Thanks for your time tonight. I just have a couple things to update you on. Okay. So Phase 4 of the Downtown Streetscape Project kicked off today. We have some past improvements that have already occurred, and we are moving forward with that. You will see a lot of activity going on down there. The community survey has been extended to April 15th. The next meeting regarding the comprehensive plan is Thursday, May 1st at the Branson Rexplex at 3 p.m. The applications for boards and committees opened up March 24th, and runs through April 30th. Applicants can apply on our website or through the city clerk's office. Application deadline is April 30th, 4:30. And we encourage you to apply or reapply for those vacancies. A couple other things that I'd like to note is our citywide spring cleanup is underway. It started yesterday and runs through April 4th. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the Public Works Department. And another topic just to put on your radar or on the public's radar is our spring community garage sale. That'll be at the Branson Recplex on April 26th. And you can reach out to the Branson Recplex or our website for more information. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any of the commissioners have any report?
Yeah.
I would encourage all citizens to participate in that general survey before the time for it closes. This is your opportunity to make your thoughts heard about how you want Branson to be 15 years from now. Also, I would encourage everybody to get out and vote Tuesday. We do have the referendum to renew the 0.5% transportation tax, and I just encourage you to vote on it. Vote on it. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Roll call vote, please.
I thought it was over. No.
Commissioner Richards?
Yes.
Commissioner Hillis?
Yes.
Chairperson Groman?
Sure, yes.
Vice Chairperson Dieger?
Yes.
Commissioner Morielli?
Yes.
Commissioner Martinowski?
Yes.
The result of the vote is 6 votes yay, 0 nay. Motion carried at 6:30 p.m.
I thought for April Fool's Day, one of you go out to adjourn.